Which games does she think are the best? The long ones, the short ones, simple, complex. What do you think for Ambie Valdez? Are all her favorite games 18XX? Let's see how well you guess.
Hi, I'm Ambie, and this is my top 100 favorite games as of the end of 2019, numbers 70 through 61. My number 70 is Spirit Island, which is a cooperative game where you're spirits on an island trying to repel the invaders. The way the game works is that there's different types of land, and each round the invaders are going to be like colonizing and building and growing on certain types of land, and you see what's happening ahead of time. For your actions, you have a hand of cards that does different actions that you can perform, and you're trying to defend areas of land or attack the invaders, and everyone's playing down these cards to do actions. What I like about it is that everyone plays a different spirit, and they're very asymmetric. Each spirit has a different way of playing and different powers. So some spirits will be more defensive, and some will be more attacking, and some will be controlling, like moving people around to different areas. So you want to work together. You want to have the spirit that can control move all of the invaders maybe to one place, and then someone who can do a really big attack them at the same time. So I think that's really fun, planning ahead, trying to make sure that you can repel off all of the invaders by working together. My number 69 is Dominion, which is a deck building card game. Dominion is pretty much a pure deck builder. Everyone starts with the same hand of cards, and there's 10 different types of cards in the middle that you can choose from. So on your turn, you're playing cards that are money to buy new cards, and you acquire new cards and put them into your deck so you have them for future turns. I like that it's simple and pure, and just building up your deck and getting a lot of cool cards and then having combos is really fun. Also, I like Dominion over other deck builders because a lot of deck builders have random cards that come out, so on your turn a new card could come out and you can get that one. But in Dominion, there's the same 10 cards available to everyone, so everyone could be going for the same cards. Dominion was one of the first modern board games I played, and I played it a lot when it came out, both in person and online. I don't play it as much now, but it's still my favorite deck builder. My number 68 is Winner's Circle, which is a horse racing betting game. In the game, there's different horses that you're betting on to win a race. In order to make the horses go around the track, you're rolling a die with different symbols on it, and each horse has a card with those symbols that say how much it moves. What's really interesting is on your turn when you roll the die, you get to pick which horse moves. So you can be picking a horse that you bet on that has a high movement for that symbol, or you could pick a horse that you didn't bet on that has a low movement for that symbol. Also, every horse has to move before a horse can move twice. So once you use up a horse's movement, they can't move again for a while. So it's a really fun and quick betting and racing game, especially when you're working with someone else to get the horse that you want to go forward, or trying to sabotage someone else's horse and make them go slowly. My number 67 is Deep Sea Adventure, which is a small, quick, push-your-luck game. The theme is that you're scuba divers in a submarine trying to go down and get treasure, but you're all sharing the same oxygen tank. So on your turn, you're deciding to either go down to get more treasure or go back up to the submarine, and you roll a dice to see how many spaces you move. As you pick up more treasure, it's harder to move, so your movement is lowered, and also you start breathing more oxygen. So there's an oxygen timer that is for everyone. You're trying to get the treasure and then make it back safely to the submarine, because then you get to keep the treasure. But if you don't make it back to the submarine before the air runs out, then you drop all the treasure. So it's really fun trying to press your luck and see how far down you can go and how much treasure you can get before making it back to the submarine safely. But then also trying to breathe more oxygen so that other people can't make it back to the submarine. My number 66 is Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, which is a cooperative adventure board game that has an app to assist with it. I haven't played Mansions of Madness 1st Edition, so I can't compare with that, but the theme of Mansions of Madness is similar to Arkham Horror and Eldritch Horror, which I mentioned in an earlier video. But in Mansions of Madness, you're playing different scenarios that have different themes and different quests that you have to fulfill. What's really neat about it is the app that helps you with everything. It helps you with setup and helps you with upkeep and calculating how much damage you're doing to enemies, so it makes the gameplay a lot smoother and easier. Also, for some of the tasks you have to complete, there's little puzzles within the app that I think are pretty fun because I like puzzles. I don't own Mansions of Madness, so I've only played it a few times when I was at conventions, but it's been fun every time I've played. My number 65 is Mahjong, which is a rummy-like tile game. I used to play Mahjong a lot with my grandma when I was growing up, and I played the Hong Kong version, I think, because my grandma was from Hong Kong. But we didn't play with any betting or scoring, so I still don't know the full scoring rules, and I only play for winning each hand. But recently, I also played with some of my friends who were at the same skill level as me, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So in Mahjong, you have a hand of tiles, and you're trying to get your whole hand to consist of multiple sets of tiles. On your turn, you draw a tile and then discard one, and you're shuffling around different tiles to get your hand to be complete. But what's interesting is that when you discard a tile that completes someone else's set, they can take it. And if you discard the tile to let someone win, then that means you actually lost the game. You have to give them your points or something. I don't play with points, but we played where it's bad if you discard the last tile, so you're trying not to do that. I have a lot of fun playing Mahjong because as you're playing, you see what people are discarding, and then you start to get a feel of what cards or tiles they need to complete their hand. So if you have that tile, then you don't want to discard it, even if the tile isn't good for you. So it's really interesting trying to decide whether you want to discard that tile or which tile you want to discard and what you're trying to go for. So that's why Mahjong is my number 65. My number 64 is Magic Maze, which is a real-time cooperative game. In Magic Maze, you're a group of adventurers trying to explore different tiles, find your weapons, and then get to the exit. So the goal of the game is for each adventurer to get to their specific weapon by moving around and then move around to the exit. But the trick is that each person can move all of the adventurers, but can only do a certain action. Like one person can only move them east, and one person can only move them north. So in order to get each piece to the place that you want, everyone has to work together in order to move them and do the actions. But you also can't talk at all. So if one person's focusing on the orange piece and trying to move them to a specific place, and someone else is focusing on the purple piece, then you can't talk to each other to tell them where you want them to move it. The one thing you do have is a do something pawn, which basically you put it in front of someone, and that means you want them to do something. But they don't know what it is you want them to do. So it's really fun and hectic, especially when people are focusing on different parts of the board, because the do something pawn keeps getting passed back and forth because people want them to do different things. I really like real-time cooperative games, and this one's pretty fun and hectic and funny with the do something pawn. My number 63 is Imperial Settlers, which is a card game where you're building up a civilization. In the game, you're drawing and playing cards which represent buildings, and the buildings do different actions or produce different resources. So as you play cards, they can get more resources, and the resources can make you play more cards, and it's really just building up and building up. There's 5 turns or rounds in the game, and the first round is pretty quick, but by the 5th round, you have so much stuff going on that it lasts pretty long. So I really like the building up of your buildings and getting more and more resources each turn. I also like that each player is a different race. So there's barbarians, Romans, Egyptians, and Japanese, and they each have their own set of buildings that are specialized for them and their powers. My favorite is the barbarians, and they like destroying buildings because they get bonuses for that. So they have these buildings that give them more points when they destroy buildings. So I think that's a lot of fun. And the art is also really cute. My number 62 is For Sale, which is a quick bidding card game where you're buying and selling houses. There's 2 main rounds of the game. One is the buying one and one's the selling one. In the buying one, there's house cards numbered 1 through 30, and you're bidding on getting the houses. I think the way the bidding works is interesting because each turn, the number of houses revealed is the number of players, and then you're bidding to not take the lowest card. So you have to keep bidding and increasing above what the last person bid, but once you pass, you have to pay half of what you bid and take the lowest remaining house. So if the houses out are like 1, 12, 14, and 20, then you're bidding to try to not take the one house because that's worth the least by a lot. Then once everyone has a hand of houses, the selling phase works similarly. There's cards that are different checks that represent the different values. They range from 0 to 15,000. So then the number of checks come out that are equal to the number of players, and everyone plays one of their house cards simultaneously. So whoever played the lowest house gets the lowest check, and whoever plays the highest gets the highest. I think this is really interesting because you don't necessarily care about the absolute value of the house. You care about the difference that's currently out there. So if the lowest check is 12,000, even if the highest check is 15,000, you don't want to put your highest card out there because you'll still get 12,000 if you put your lowest house down. So I really like how For Sale makes you think about what other people are going to be playing and what the lowest house you can play is to get the best value for that house. My number 61 is Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth, which is a cooperative game similar to Mansions of Madness, which I mentioned earlier in this video, but it's Lord of the Rings themed. I really like Lord of the Rings as a theme, which is why I own this game and not Mansions of Madness. But I also like the mechanism of attacking and skill checks. In Mansions of Madness, you're rolling dice, but in Lord of the Rings, you have a deck of cards that have your skills. They also have icons in the corner, so the cards can either be used as your skills or for skill checks. The way a skill check works is that whenever you need to do an attack or something that requires a skill, you flip over cards from the top of your deck and see how many icons you get, and that's how many successes you get. So I think that's really neat, and you can also upgrade your skills. So as you finish a scenario, you get experience points and you can get more cards in your deck that are better. Also, the game is a campaign. There's an app that helps you with setup and all of the upkeep, and it helps you go through the adventure. This is a recent game, so I haven't been able to play it that much, but I did notice that depending on how we did on certain scenarios, the future scenarios changed. So I think playing through the campaign multiple times will be possible because it'll be different each time. Also, even though the box is really big and it looks like it'll take a long time, Toby and I played through a scenario in an hour, so that's really neat. So that was my number 70 through 61 favorite games. Stay tuned for the rest of my list. And thanks for watching!
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.